Hey people, tell us what in the sport made you laugh hardest this weekend. It is a segment we call What Made You Laugh This Weekend. Ha ha ha!
Hey, Dano.
Hang on. Let's do this again. we were micing him and he got caught.
He said,
off
"Mic me" on mic.
All right, here we go.
Hey people, tell us what in the sport made you laugh hardest this weekend. It is a segment we call What Made You Laugh This Weekend. Ha ha ha!
Hey, Dano. Funniest thing in the sports weekend.
Oh, wow.
A day late. We've got
$1 short.
plenty to choose from here. Tony, what was the funniest thing from the sports weekend?
Dan, we talked about it yesterday, but I was just so enamored with Teddy Bridgewater's 20-play, 88-yard, 11-minute, and 7-second
good.
drive that ended on a 4th and 2 with a
good.
draw play up the middle that lost a yard.
So good. Just so.
Thanks.
It's just so
That
Broncos.
play call on the 4th and 2, a draw up the middle.
Yeah, Fangs was trying to catch him sleeping.
He was already satisfied. He had chewed 11
He
minutes
did.
off the
He
clock.
did.
I mean,
You know
Mission
what?
accomplished.
You know what he was saying to himself in that moment with that call? I believe Fangs was saying to himself, you know what? It's harder not to get points in this situation than it is to finish it up with points. It's harder to get a 20-play, 88-yard drive that doesn't get you points.
You could have done what Kyle Shanahan did with this situation a couple weeks ago, which is kick a field goal on 4th and 1 from the 2.
So-
Instead, Vic Fangio, aggressive, went for it.
yeah.
Well, let me ask you guys this question because of the level of precision we've gotten to in football. Are you guys not watching all of this real estate acquisition in small spaces for 4 yards at a time with people covered better than you've ever seen, and the rules meant to get you a lot of flags in situations when two guys are just playing football and it's hard to run with another world-class athlete 50 yards down the field, and I might grab like a jersey a little bit or hit somebody with an elbow, and then there's Gronk just pushing off, allowed to push off at all times because we want offense. Are you guys not marveling at what you're watching every Sunday, at how hard it is for all of these people to get 4 yards of open space in a confinement with all of this athleticism that it's difficult for even Justin Jefferson
For me, the
4
mark.
years of
to
4
get,
yards
to
of
get
space.
4 yards of space, even though he's like a basketball player who's floating above earth most of the time.
The marvel is the defense and how anyone can defend in this league. Because there was a defensive lineman this weekend that was penalized for tackling. Just tackling, doing everything that you would have been taught at 12 years old of how to tackle.
Roughing on the court.
Roughing on the quarterback, because while you've done your job, you've beaten a 330-pound offensive lineman to get around him, to get to the quarterback. Your job that you spend 365 days to prepare for, you do it. And then you have to think, as I'm doing this, I have to twist so I can land on my side and not the quarterback because I've done my job too well.
It is crazy. It is crazy to think of it from those terms, too, guys, because this is what Ryan Clark was trying to tell you guys the other day when he's saying the amount of effort that I try to make a play with and the amount of ice baths and needles and everything else so that I can be in a position that the Raiders yesterday could have won with a pick six that would have been in the last minute of the game. Just pick six, end the game. You change the Raiders season, all this talk about Ruggs and Gruden all of a sudden, and he just dropped it. The amount of work that's done to get to the point where you're in position to make a play in that sport.
Right.
And then, we neuter it with the silliest of things, the silliest and the dumbest of things.
With a flag. I mean, for something the guy can't control. I mean,
With a flag trying to protect the quarterback just so that a 300-pound man doesn't land directly on him but falls off to the side, and you're changing a game with that call. It's just crazy what we're watching on Sundays.
do you think if Fangs ran the NFL that an 11-play drive that it's a drive that shoot up 11 minutes, no points, but in Fangs' NFL, that would be a touchdown, right? Like, he doesn't have to get in the end zone. He'd shoot up 11 minutes.
Wait a minute. That should be worth more.
I agree.
That should be worth.
It's very difficult.
That there should be some sort of bonus that if you can do a 20-play, 88-yard drive,
And not score.
Those are the two numbers, and be in a position to not score, you get 10 points.
And Witty, it's penalized, not penalized.
Thank you.
I'm going to go with Woody. I wanted
What's
to
wrong with
correct him, but I
penalized?
didn't know. Yeah.
It just makes me roll my eyes.
It's also phallic.
That's right.
It is.
Chris Cody, what was the funniest thing from the sports weekend?
Sean McDonough was calling Oklahoma State Baylor, and he has these like one sheets. Apparently, Witty tells me it's called a spotting board. It's like all his information on one sheet. And I'm telling you that Sean McDonough's was the size of a poster board. It was literally the size of like 14 pieces of paper connected together, and he was holding
very
it up.
prepared. Very prepared.
Like, you're not reading all that stuff.
Pornographic for me. That's a beautiful spotting board, my friend. Sean, well done, sir.
Wetty.
That is porn for you, is it not, Chris Whittingham? Just a
Good prep.
What's
Love
the
good
biggest
prep.
spotting board you've ever had?
Love good prep.
There's
What
no
is it?
bigger than that one, right? You saw the one I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Massive. I used to when I was doing football at the University of Miami, there was one printer in the comm school that had 11 by 17 sheets of paper. I had to go for football games to go and get these giant pieces of paper printed for my football charts. And then you get them laminated afterwards. I love a good board. I love a good board.
But Chris Cody is saying that McDonough doesn't know everything on that
I'm just saying he's
board.
not. There's no way. It was so big. He's not getting to a third of that stuff.
I'm guessing 80% of that gets left on the cutting room floor, but I'm guessing
More, probably.
I'm guessing that he is a person who knows everything that's on that board. I don't think anybody has any idea the amount of prep that goes into the things that
especially
Whittingham does.
like college football. I've heard Joe Test talk about, like, you can stop him on a flight and go 71 on BC, and he like has the name off the top of his head. Knowing the names of 100 college football players, some of whom wear the same number jersey, is the hardest part of doing that sport. There's so many players.
I bet you the people listening to this don't have any earthly idea, including Stugotz. Stugotz says,
think I'd be great
I
at
can
it.
do it.
Yeah.
I can do it. No problem. I can do it.
No spotting board.
Whittingham, what was the funniest thing? What was the funniest thing from the sports weekend?
The media call for the Alamo Bowl, which featured Mario Cristobal and Bob Stoops, neither of whom took any questions from the assembled press.
Neither of them would defend the Alamo. It's unbelievable. What a mercenary business that has become, that all of a sudden you've got a situation where the Alamo Bowl doesn't have Lincoln Riley, Bob Stoops coming in, lifetime ambassador position.
Right.
And the Alamo Bowl doesn't have Mario Cristobal anymore.
On the subject of Bob Stoops, have you seen him on the set of Big Noon Kickoff?
I have.
That's
Yeah.
a tiny desk for 6 people. There's so many people on that show. I think at one point Reggie Bush was sitting on Brady Quinn's shoulders. It's the only room that was available on that desk. There's so many people there.
Why?
I don't know. Well, you have Matt Leinart and Brady Quinn kind of overlap, kind of good-looking former Heisman-winning quarterbacks. There's a lot going on there.
Who would you take out?
Do you need both of them? I think Leinart's the one that's...
I think Quinn's the one.
Well,
Yeah,
what
Quinn's got to go.
Hey, easy.
No, Quinn doesn't go.
Quinn stays.
Yeah, bye-bye, Leinart. There is a duplication in the USC department. You're out of here.
They already have Reggie Bush. Do you need Reggie Bush and Matt Leinart? They were on the
Absolutely
same
not.
team, and all three of those guys played in the exact same era.
Yeah, but
Also-
Leinart won the Heisman.
Also,
didn't he?
just curious, does that broadcast have a woman on it?
Reggie Bush...
They had a
won the
Wendy's
Heisman.
ad.
No, he
actually,
didn't.
They took
this
it
year.
away from him.
Okay, so Wendy.
They took it away from him.
They took it away retroactive Brady Quinn Heisman.
Does that mean that Reggie Bush is kind of in the Alex Rodriguez, reformed his image enough to be a disgraced former Heisman winner?
He's in Wendy's commercials.
Yeah.
You've got
He's one of the faces of college football on the basis of being on that show, despite being banned from it.
Reggie Bush not only has all the things that we are talking about right here, here's a fairly amazing one I would also add to the proceedings. Reggie Bush is right where Kim Kardashian and that empire started becoming the powerhouse that you saw. And people don't remember some of that. It was long enough ago that they don't remember that Reggie Bush came after Ray J and came after all of those things. I didn't mean that phrasing.
Can that be my funniest thing in Sports Weekend?
That classifies Jessica.
We all just looked at each other and went,
Jessica, what was the funniest thing for? Start the music back up. I love the timing of it falling down as soon as I did that. And everyone was staring at me. Jessica, what was the funniest thing from the Sports
I
Weekend?
feel like I want to change it now. This has gotten so smutty. But the funniest thing for me was the Cardinals tweet where they turned the bean into a penis.
It has gotten smutty.
What's the bean?
You don't know what the bean is? Chris, when I was a young girl and I found the bean, happiest day of my life.
Oh my God. Hell yeah.
Do you know? Have you seen the bean? Have you found it? You know where it is?
What are we doing right now?
She's talking about. She's just talking about the bean. You guys are
I've never
talking
found
about
the bean.
something else. It's hard.
No, that's not a surprise.
Do you guys want to explain to the audience that might not know, or just leave it alone?
It's a sculpture in Chicago.
Oh.
The bean.
Oh.
What were you
Wow.
guys thinking about?
Shit.
Mike-
I had that one all.
What was the funniest thing from the Sports Weekend, Mike?
Me and my family.
Oh yeah, so good.
I'm
Wait
sorry.
a minute, you're Elvis now. You're not Brian Kelly.
Me,
my doctor.
my family, my doctor.
It's been a blue Christmas without you.
I love the tradition of dressing up coaches in suits, but they have to be in your team colors. So they love doing that. So Brian Kelly in a purple suit.
L'aubergine.
Such a weird moment.
Brian Kelly dressed like he's Prince. Dressed like he's going to take over Gotham by
It's so
by
good.
offering Batman a predatory loan.
So good.
Did they give him the extra purple?
They did.
Like, it's not just like
Deep
it's not a normal
purple.
shirt. It's like, find the one that's the most purple.
So Brian Kelly
How
and
good-
his transformation
how
into
good-
a Southern aristocrat.
How good would Marcus Freeman look in that same suit?
Oh my
Oh my
God.
God, that guy.
How good would he look without it?
Baby.
Hell yeah.
We were talking about Reggie Bush and Leinart. Who's the college analyst that's like ascended as an analyst but had a mediocre playing career? And I don't remember him
Greg
playing.
McElroy.
McElroy. Like, was David Pollock a great player in
Pollock
college?
was an
he was.
awesome
I don't
player.
remember. I'm sorry. I
He's
knew
a
that.
great
Three-time
NFL player,
All-American.
but he hurt his
Yeah, he hurt his neck.
Injuries. Okay.
What was Herbie's career like?
Ooh,
He
that
was
could be a
good.
good one.
Was he?
Player.
I don't think Herbie played in the NFL.
No, he
No.
did
No,
not.
but he was
No,
a
talking
about
great,
college
great
career.
He was
Ohio
a
State
decent college player. Decent.
I mean, Brady Quinn wasn't what he was supposed to
It's
be.
true. That's a good one.
player. He was really good. Brady Quinn was very, very
No,
good.
he's talking about the pros.
Oh, and the pros.
Brady
Yeah,
Quinn was
no, but
not-
He got drafted by the Browns, Dan.
Are you? Do you have a siren or somewhere that goes off that you have to protect Notre Dame people from whatever
You say
angle
Brady
they
Quinn?
need
Who's
to?
Brady Quinn? Who's talking about Brady Quinn? Behind my back.
Herbie might be the answer though,
I think Herbie is the answer.
because he's like the #1 college analyst, and he, might have had a fine career, but
Remember that protein shake commercial that Brady Quinn had with like, now I'm done. And it's just, abs were just.
It's 100% Herbie. He had 5 passing touchdowns in his college career.
Yeah,
11 interceptions.
exactly.
So why were
They
why,
were run heavy?
It was Wishbone back
why
then.
was
though.
Jessica remembering him
had
even though he
negative
played
rushing yards his senior season.
He played before Jessica's days, and Jessica was remembering him as a good college
How did
player.
Ohio State do?
Because I think they had a good season his senior year. Like they won 12 games or 10 games or something.
In spite of him,
Yeah, in spite of him, I
in
guess.
spite of Herb
Like
Street,
he wasn't a scrub. He was good.
he was Craig
He had
Krenzel.
4
He was
touchdowns.
Craig Krenzel before Craig Krenzel.
I wasn't
Krenzel
alive, so I'm
did
very,
everything
very
necessary.
open to
He
being
did.
very wrong here.
Krenzel did what he had to do. I mean, he
But
did.
Herbie didn't
He had
even
a
do
big,
that.
he had a
Herbie
big
just
comeback
threw.
against Purdue.
He did.
Recall.
Yeah.
Herbie threw a bunch of interceptions.
Good
Stugotz-
question, Chris.
Stugotz,
Ohio State.
what was the funniest thing from the sports weekend?
The 110-1 Lions still having a mathematical chance of making the playoffs.
No, no, that's no.
if,
No.
if San Francisco would have beaten
No.
Seattle on Sunday, they would have been eliminated.
No.
But because they didn't, they're still technically alive.
No, I don't believe you.
In the hunt?
No, no,
They're in the mix. I mean,
no.
one win.
That can't be mathematically true.
They've covered the spread in 2/3 of their games. I said it on Sunday, and I still can't believe it.
I've got a couple of nominees here, Stugotz. One of them is Joel Osteen. This was delightful this weekend. There had been some donations that had been missing,
Yeah.
checks and cash from a sermon, and this was from 2014. A plumber who was working on a toilet found $600,000 of those donations in the church walls 7 years after they disappeared. I don't know if I know that Joel Osteen says that God favors you with wealth when you have been good, but I'd love to know the details of what happened there, because somebody put that in a wall and didn't touch it for 7 years. And it just sat there. Somebody did that. They intended to go back at some point.
Yes.
Is
But
there
the plumber
someone-
beat him to it.
Is there someone reading this news story and like pounding a table going, shit, they found it?
I was going to go last month. Mildred, last month.
Mildred.
And get it out of there. Or was it Osteen? Was it him? Was it him?
I think that's where the money for Mario Cristobal's buyout came from.
It might as well have. But I am not selecting that, Stugotz.
You're not, huh?
No, nor am I selecting.
Wait, did the plumber report that he found the money? Like gave the money back?
Yes.
Oh, it's a terrible job by the plumber.
Well, let me ask you another question
one
on
would've
that.
known,
Let me
I
ask
mean-
you.
Stugotz the plumber is in hiding right now.
That is true. So I want to ask Stugotz this question, because there was another story I was reading this weekend about somebody, and it made me think of you, because I think 13-year-old girl on her third day with a metal detector, Stugotz, found an axe from the Bronze Age 3,000 years ago, and an assortment of other things. Third day with a metal detector, she finds what would be classified in value by definition by the government as treasure.
Okay.
What would you do?
I would not tell anyone. I'd probably sell it on the black market.
A tremendous crime is what you would commit, because the government seizes all this stuff. The people who find it are not entitled to own it. It is a great crime. I don't believe just there. I believe everywhere. I believe the United States, that the government, and I don't think it's fair either. I think you should get to keep it, but it only gets you
Finders keepers.
a reward. All it gets you
Right.
is a reward. You don't get to actually keep it and sell it on the black market.
Is there a black market for axes from the Bronze Age? There is? Smitty, you're saying yes?
Oh God, there's a black market for all sorts of artifacts, dude.
Really?
I don't know how you would find it. I don't know what black market connection.
That axe is worth a lot of money to somebody, right?
Whitty, can you tell me what the crime is for trying to pawn off a treasure's your own? Learn a lesson here, people, that if you find a treasure of that age, I don't think in the United States that you can keep it or sell it without it being a pretty substantive crime. So Stugotz, of course, would default to, I would try to sell it on the black
What is
market.
the crime? I found the axe. I found the axe. Finders, keepers, losers, weepers. I sell that thing black. In fact, I don't even sell on the black market. Why should I have to?
It's generally referred to as
I sell it on
archaeological.
eBay. Maybe a little Etsy or something like that.
There's a lot of that stuff on Etsy.
Medieval battle axes?
Seriously, you go into the dark corners of Etsy, Mike, you're gonna see some shit.
Dark Ages.
Etsy is freaky.
The Dark
Etsy?
Ages.
Detsy?
There's some weird stuff there.
It's generally referred to as archaeological theft.
I found it.
Hell yeah. That's my Nick Cage.
It depends where you live. There's like some countries have really strict rules about it. Like I think in the UK, because there's so much like Viking excavation stuff happening there, that people will purposely like go out and like try to make a living finding coins and selling it on the black market. So now they have stricter laws there about
awesome.
what you can keep.
Going on a bike trip and finding a medieval battle axe. How gnarly would that be?
It'd be great.
I love a
Jesus.
black market, man.
It doesn't seem fair to me that you don't get more than the reward in that circumstance. You should get to keep an arrowhead or something. You should get to keep something if you are somebody who legitimately finds treasure. That said, and I don't know the girl's name, your metal detector career after this is going to be nothing but downhill.
Right. You beat.
Like you are going to find a single quarter and be really disappointed that it's not treasure. You should retire. She should retire.
Go out on top.
Don't
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Third day, that's what she finds. Did you guys know there was a metal detector magazine? I've always wondered about the mindset and whether it's meditative or not. The number of people I see on the beach here and what they collect, how much career and money there is in it.
Her career, like you said, is going to be all downhill from here. Unlike Herb Streets, because I just went on Wikipedia. Yeah, that dude stunk in college.
He was bad.
Oh my God, I
Yeah.
feel like I've been bamboozled my entire life.
It's those eyes.
He wasn't good at football.
Is it the eyes?
It's the eyes.
It is the eyes.
He has stunning
Deep blue
eyes.
lagoons make you think that he maybe was better at touchdowns than interceptions. But
Also, he works a clicker better than any other analyst in the sport. Loves he works that clicker.
doesn't Orlovsky use it better? I feel like what Ryan Clark and Orlovsky are doing, are they?
He's next level. He's with the iPad. He's got the iPad. Like they go to him on set, and he's like, "All right, guys, I'm gonna die," and he's like holding an iPad and drawing stuff. I think Herbie has an old school coach's clicker.
You mean he's like drawing on the play when he's showing you a replay,
Yes,
and you're just
yes.
hoping that he draws a penis? Everyone does that, right?
Yes.
I've always wanted to draw a telestrator penis. It's my life's mission.
Ron Rothstein, the Heat guy, he
Yeah.
always draws penises.
Put it on
Stop
the,
it! Roll it!
Put it on the poll, please, at LeBatard Show. Is Ron Rothstein always drawing penises? Or peni, I guess, would be the plural.
What would you do if you found the X?
Well, because of what I just told you, though, I'd have to report it to somebody. I'd want to keep it. My instinct would be to do what you do. I want to keep this. I don't want to tell anybody. I want to sell it. But if I know it's a crime,
You can't keep that thing in your house. You ever see a scary movie once? Like there is like absolutely some sort of ghoul residing inside the handle of that battle axe that will slay you and your family.
because I'm clearly bringing in death from the
Yeah.
beyond into my home.
Yeah.
You believe in the energies of that?
Yeah. I mean, how many times is that? Can you imagine how many times that battle axe has been used to impale someone? That's a lot of negative spiritual energy in your casa.
Put it on the poll, please, at LeBatard Show. Is that a lot of negative spiritual energy in your casa?
That's how you have to say it. I mean,
The funniest thing, though, for me from the weekend, because I want to ask Stugotz here. I think Stugotz is going to be very upset by this. My father did something this weekend that I believe to be the funniest thing of the sports weekend, and I think you guys are going to be either mad at him or horrified for what it is that he has done.
okay.
Especially Jessica. I think Jessica is going to be the one here that it bothers.
Did you talk shit about Brady Quinn, Dan? I'll fight him. Beat his ass, Dan. Get over here, Poppy.
I voted for the Heisman this weekend, and I just emailed my father and asked him if he had gotten all of the information for his Heisman vote as well, because my father has had one for many years. And my father wrote back. I wrote the head of the regional chapter and told him I was no longer at ESPN and that he should have his vote back. He had not known that. And so I guess my father voted last year without being at ESPN and didn't think it was right. So my father gave back his Heisman vote, but could have kept it for the rest of time. And it made me think of you, Stugotz.
I would have loved that Heisman vote.
It just made me think of what you would have done in that circumstance. My family had 2 Heisman votes and now only has 1 because my father simply gave his back, and they would not have known. They would not have taken it back from him. It would have taken, like I said, he may have voted in 2 since he's left in ESPN. I'm not sure if it's 1 or 2.
I would have sold it on the black market.